Hello, 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 everyone. This week we're doing something different. We're looking at my own landing page and for this website teardown to see how I would improve my own stuff, right? Because sometimes we need to keep each other accountable. So I'm currently doing some sponsored ads for my newsletter, and that's why I've been working on improving this. So I made a big mistake, huge mistake. I ran the first sponsored ad on this crappy landing page. I got a couple subscribers, but I could have gotten more. So my goal was to basically rewrite the whole page, kind of rework the layout, and make it more powerful so that I can run another sponsored ad or a couple more and see how that goes with the new page. So it's going to be an interesting experiment and also something that you can learn from, right? So let's look at this page. This is the old page, right? So the probably the only thing that I wouldn't touch here is the value proposition. At this point of my journey into the newsletter, I ran a daily newsletter. This is daily newsletter, Conversion Alchemy Journal. If you're not on it, link down below. But anyway, this is a pretty good value proposition for now, which is the only thing that I probably wouldn't change. Everything else is kind of complete crap. So we have our bio right away. It's probably the biggest mistake. People don't really care about you, especially most people who will land here are going to be heard or linked to, or some might be cold traffic. So in that case, we want to tell them a bit more of what they can get right away to have them stick on the page and want to click. In this case, we're just introducing me, which is not really helpful. The page should be about the product or whatever we're offering, right? So that's one thing to change. The other thing, I was still using a pop-up here. So whenever you clicked on this button here, the page opened up a pop-up. There was extra friction that we don't need. And also I was linking to my blog here to see some examples because sometimes I repost newsletter after I sent them out on my blog. So the blog wasn't necessarily a great thing because we want to create some scarcity right here. So if people see that you are posting newsletter on your blog where everyone on the internet can see them, it's not going to feel something special, right? So we want to make this feel a bit more private, maybe a bit more exclusive. So we'll see how I've done that. And that's pretty much it. The page ended up here. So it's just basically me, two lines about what the newsletter is, and a call to action with that friction and two testimonials. So biggest problem is there's not enough social proof. I would definitely work on this and add more. And yeah, in general, there's not much transparency on what you can expect from the newsletter. Expectations are not set, so we'll need to work on that. Right here on the side, you can see the new and improved version. So you can see that as far as copy is much longer, goes deeper, it's much more varied, it breaks up a bit better. And honestly, this first version was just something that I made out of laziness. It was the first thing and easiest thing to do. And I haven't been focused on building the newsletter until now. So, I mean, forgive me for not have been working on this, but yeah. Anyway, let's jump into the new page and see what I've done. So first thing first, you can see I moved the call to action right at the top. So from here, also this is longer page, so moved it right away here, and I'm telling people what they can expect. So after the value proposition, write better copy and get more customers from your website in 2 minutes a day. Get actionable ideas to get more customers for your SaaS, e-commerce, or service business while you sip your coffee. So something very simple. I'm defining who the audience is. So if people fit within these categories, they can join. They can decide to join, and also we give them the access right away. So without any pop-up, they can just input their data here and click to get started. I'm also setting some expectations here and establishing some trust. So that's why I tell them by signing up, you agree to receive daily emails. I want it to be clear that they should expect emails from Monday to Friday. 2 minutes a day that can change your business for free. My promise, I won't waste your time. So you can see I'm being upfront about what I can expect. Yeah, in general, trying to lower their barriers right away here. So we have just a picture, this is me, and they will learn more about me at the bottom. But another thing that I tried to do with the images, you can see I made them smaller, and I also added some storytelling with the images. That's another thing that I really value a lot. It's using visuals to complement the story that we are telling. So that's why I added captions here. So you got me. I wanted to click there. Just continuing with the kind of the whole theme of transparency, kind of a bit funny, So yeah, I think captions work pretty well for that. You can use them. We have the same testimonials. I added the functionality here to show dots when you have more, especially on mobile. Also, another big important factor: test the page on mobile. This page was super simple, so there weren't any problems on mobile. But in this case, I had to test it all, reverse some sections to show the paragraph and the image first. So there's some more work behind it, behind the responsive version. Let's move forward. The other thing that I've done was, as I mentioned, increase transparency, increase improve the way that we set expectations, right? So that's why we tell them why they should sign up. So why another newsletter and a daily one? My goal is simple: to make sure we stop mindlessly gulping down our IG and TikTok feeds, headed for a bottomless binge of content that doesn't help us achieve our goals. What I write is the stuff I wish I could have read when I started out. It's also what I'm still learning about every day when I sit behind my desk. So, kind of telling them that this is going to be behind the scenes, kind of very private, restricted circle. That's the vibe that I want people to get. We also use images again, so me ruthlessly sending out my ramblings to the world. What you can expect. So in this case, I'm basically listing out some of the topics, right? Some of the topics that I write about and what they can expect. So from Monday to Friday, in less than 500 no fluff words, you get a real world analysis of how top SaaS and e-commerce brands use copy and UX to convert, positioning case studies, my psychology and human behavior based frameworks, my road tested audience and market research methods, deep observations into our industry trends, lessons from ancient wisdom and philosophy that can make you a better thinker, actionable insights, sometimes just funny stories, and more. You can see that all this copy here, it's designed specifically to create desire, to incentivize users to want to learn more. I use adjectives, words that they are familiar with, right? So I want to kind of also filter out people who are not a fit, people in the industry as well. I don't want newbies. So I want people who know what we're talking about, but they also want to learn more. We also have this link, as I mentioned. I'm going to give them a preview, but I want to do that in a private way. So you can actually check out the live page here. And what I do, it's I instead of linking to my blog, which looks like this, you can actually see past issues here. They're not super up to date. But instead of linking here, what I do is I link to my ConvertKit private page. So only people who click on this link, which is super small, only people who are interested in the newsletter, can actually see past issues that I published, right? So, and it's also a nice format. You can see that it feels kind of like a secret in a way, private. So, this is going to be a nice way for them to get a glimpse, a preview of what they can expect in a more private way. Finally, towards the end, again, we are trying to increase desire, interest for them to sign up. So what we are doing here is we're using some real actual subject lines from emails. This kind of gives them a direct look at kind of the tone as well as the voice of the emails and the topics and subject lines that they can expect to receive in their inbox. And important thing to pay attention here, I only included subject lines that receive the highest open rate. So usually my average open rate it's anything between 40-45%. These are all subject lines that received 49-50% open rate, right? So we want to get only the best because we know that those work. So some recent topics to make you drool on this: 5 questions Nike's founder uses to deal with change. Sometimes you need a good old Mexican shootout. Want to dominate in your field. When getting stuck is the key to solving problems. The secret acting system Hollywood doesn't want you to know about. So all very curiosity driven subject lines. Then we added a second call to action because here we only had one. So, especially because the page is longer, we want to give them another chance to click. In this case, I intentionally didn't include the form, mostly because I want them to focus on the copy, also because the form, the pop up is just going to be a quick action. So in this case, I let them focus a bit more on the copy and keep this a bit more secondary as far as importance. They can also quickly scroll up and fill this if they want to. But at least they have another chance to sign up that's not as intrusive as this first one. Maybe I would say if I only used the email field, I would have included it here. But since we are using both, I don't want to overwhelm them. I've also added more social proof, right? So that was one big issue here. I only had these two. So in this case, I added actual screenshots of feedback from the audience. So these are two readers that speak directly to the content of the emails, what they liked, what they appreciated. So this is very like real third-party social proof, which is stronger usually than normal testimonials. And then I added generic testimonials here. These are not specific to the newsletter, but they basically help prove my authority on the topic, right? So we have my bio here right away, and what we are doing basically it's proving this point. I say that I am the conversion alchemist. Why is that, right? So we just prove it here with these testimonials. We know, so we give people a way to validate that by themselves. And this is pretty much it. This is the page, and you can check it out. I'm going to be adding the link to this page live. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, you're more than welcome. And have a great weekend. Till next time.